first of all, hello everyone, and thank you all for joining. And whoever sees us on Facebook, hello to all of you there. Hoping whoever is watching is safe and sound. And my wish is that we all keep being safe, and these crazy times we pass them as best and most positive possible as it can be. I do believe we are living in a very difficult time right now, and we are witnessing a very sad moment for humanity, global wise. And but we are also seeing some of the best, I would say, in terms of responses to the crisis per se. And so with that reason, we are starting this series of spotlights that I would like to call them, that together with the team of EUGS and the team of Junction, we have joined hands to kind of give the platform and speak about the importance of responding to the crisis, but also who are the people behind the response, and especially where young adults are involved in the front line and giving a hand to the most vulnerable ones and to the community per se. So first, I just want to say that in terms of why we are doing this is from one hand is to kind of showcase what is happening in Europe specifically in terms of response and to kind of call for action for other young adults to give them a possibility to see how they can activate themselves and what they can do for the community and for the most vulnerable members of that community. But also in the same time, I want to acknowledge about the work that has been done and is been doing, especially these three people that we have invited to speak. And in just a moment, you will hear what a great job they're doing and what an amazing efforts they're putting to help people and to actually be there for someone that is in need. So if you would like, first I see we're 15 people. If everyone just can go around and say their name and where they're from, just in order to see who we have on the Zoom. Can we have?
Hi, I'm Jim from Brussels.
Hi. We are unmuting as it comes. So see when you're unmuted. Anja.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, great to see you all. I'm Anja, and I'm based in Berlin. I work for the JDC here.
Hi, Anja. Victoria. Mayan.
Hello. Hi, Leila.
Hi.
I was speaking to Sam this morning, and I told her that I would like to join the call, so I thought I'll just join in.
Mayan is from India, so hi, Mayan.
Hello.
Hi. Victoria, you want to introduce yourself? Okay. Now, let's go to Alisa.
Hey, how are you? I'm fine, but I'm Martin. I'm sorry.
Hi, Martin. You signed
Yes, I keep sometimes the login of my wife. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, can we go to Johanna? Okay. Bini, can we go to Johanna?
Yes, yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, I am from Hungary.
Hi,
Nice to
Johanna.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. Can we hear Lara Gutman?
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm Lara from Barcelona.
Nice to meet you. Lara Gilkarov.
Hi everyone, I'm Lara, I'm from Vienna.
Hi, Lara. Maya Wolffberg.
Hi, I'm Maya from Berlin.
Hi, Maya. Mickey?
Okay, I'm Mickey from Barcelona, now in Budapest.
Hi, Mickey. And we have Elsie.
Hey, it's Lisa. I'm from Turkey, and now I'm in Berlin. I just write the initial story. I should write my name.
Okay, and we have with us Vinny, the president of UGS. We have Sam from Junction Team, and I saw Balin for a second, but he left. So we say hello, and I'm gonna now our speakers. How we're gonna go? We have these three amazing people who are quite busy this period. Okay, so we don't want to waste their time, but we want to get the juicy stuff out of them and what they're doing and how they're doing and what it is mean to be active at this moment and to be responding to a crisis. So we have Robin Kratz with us from Vienna, Austria. Hi, Robin. We have Dratwa Gutman, who is originally from Mexico, living in Helsinki. And we have Blanca from Bosnia and Herzegovina, who is based in Sarajevo. So all three of them have an amazing stories and backgrounds. I was reading their bios just before we started, and I'm quite inspired. I'm amazed of what they're doing and how they're involved in their communal work. I'm not gonna speak much. I'm gonna give the floor to them, okay? And we're gonna go with round of questions, okay? And then we're gonna take some questions from the audience as well, okay? So first of all, Robin, Beto, Blanca, I'd like to start with one question that probably not so many people are asking you today. And that is, how are you doing? And how are you coping with the situation that you find yourself in?
May I start?
Yes.
First of all, hello guys, my name is Robin. I'm the Secretary General of the Austrian Union of Jewish Students. And actually, thank you very much for the question. It's the first time for a long time that I hear it. It's actually a very good question. I think that if I look down at my true inner self, at my true psychological inner self, I think I don't feel very good. But I think that nobody actually feels good at this time of like currently. And everybody, in my opinion, everybody copes with it in a different way. And my way of coping with it is getting into work, like doing stuff, not resting still, because like every second I have on checking the news, checking on how many Jewish communities or generally how many cities, countries are already affected by the coronavirus, actually get very depressed. So I actually am very happy that I found something to do. Some of you guys were also here at the EUGS Haftalah on last Saturday, where I also said that I felt very depressed and very like I didn't know what to do, and I felt very helpless. And this whole project that we started, and I hope I will have some time to explain it later a little bit, actually made me focus on something else to actually be more relaxed in a way, although I'm very busy. But currently I don't feel too good, but I can hide it very well.
I hope you don't hide it. I hope you deal with it. Thank you, Robin. Blanca?
Hi, people. I want to say my name first of all. My name is Blanca. I'm coming from Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm working in a Jewish community for the people who survived Second World War. So basically, I have a lot of work today. Jewish community don't work, but I feel like I have a double work now than I have before we've worked. So basically in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have older people who are 65 plus cannot go out. So basically we need to do for them all things, buying, shopping, medicines, equipment, medical, everything. So basically we have a lot of job today, not just for the Holocaust survivor, for the older people of our community. And basically, unfortunately, in Sarajevo, we members of the Jewish community mainly are older. So basically, we have a few of let's say few, but less people who are younger. So today we have a team from 20 volunteers who are trying to help all the members of the Jewish community. So basically my day is, I don't know how to say it, but let's say we have a phone for the crisis, and every number of the Jewish community is now delivered for this phone, little one, but still working. So it's just ringing all the time from the morning. Now we have a curfew in our country, so basically we can around till 6 o'clock, but still we have a permission of the government to go out with few cards and volunteers. So basically if they need something, we need to deliver them.
Blanca, how are you? I've asked first, tell me, I know you jumped
tired,
to tell me what are you doing, but I really want to know how are you first.
Tired, but good. Still good. Tired, but good.
Holding up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Holding up.
Yes. Beto.
Hi. Well, I'm actually doing okay. I think Finland, regarding the other countries, is a couple of weeks behind. We haven't had full shutdowns, even though we've closed the schools and we've closed all the stores and everything. We are still kind of processing. We had a scare in the community a couple of weeks ago because we thought that there was Corona already a couple of weeks ago, and we had to close. And we closed the community, and we closed all activities and everything. And then the authorities said, you're safe. There was no actual infection, nothing. We came back, and 2 days after is when they actually decided to close all the schools. So we came back for 1 day for normalcy. We went back to closing everything. And we've been really kind of like figuring out how to continue activities, how there's an emergency group from the community. So we have reached out to the older members of the community to see how they are doing. Luckily, everybody's okay. We have the line just in case somebody actually might need something. But now we're just trying to adapt to the new reality and see how we can continue having activities, even if it's now by Zoom, even if it's like something completely different in a way. Everything's digital, and we are just planning kind of like this box that we're trying to do for Passover, so we can have a Passover together for the teens and young adults that are, a lot of them are foreign, so they cannot go back to their home country. So we're preparing food for them. So we're gonna give them for Passover, so they can celebrate a Seder, at least online here with their friends. And we're just trying to keep the spirits up, and we're focusing on the response of what's happening and what's gonna come after, planning for summer, because we're gonna be a long period probably inside. So we're just focusing on what are we gonna do the minute we're out, and make sure that everybody has some activity, some kind of thing that helps them to go back to normal.
Thank you, Beto. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good, to be honest. There's no time to kind of like think that much. I'm just like reacting and really working. I work with a lot of people, so I actually feel comfortable that I still have this kind of like contact, even if it's only with 2 people.
Yeah, I imagine. So tell me, what is the situation in the country? You've mentioned a bits of it. So you are not in a total lockdown, but you are in a partial closure, right? And you started 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes. So basically, what the government has recommended for a while was social distancing. So most people are working from home. Mm-hmm. They had closed all elementary school before, but they allowed kindergartens to continue because they need the parents to be able to go to work if they're essential. So we've kept the community closed, but we have kindergarten and grades 1 to 3 open, but only for people who really need to go to work. They are essential workers working in stores and pharmacies, restaurants.
And now that's closed.
These are still only takeout and everything. So.
Okay. And what about other countries? Vienna, Austria. What is the situation there in your country and your community?
Vienna is, I think, pretty similar as Austria is pretty similar as Finland. There, the government issued a rule that you shouldn't leave your house except 3 reasons. Number 1 is if you need to work. if you really must work. Number 2 is if you need to do the groceries for yourself. So every daily shopping you need to do, this is a reason to leave the house. And the third reason is if you need to help others. So this is the current situation. I personally, I sleep at around 6 hours a night, and I'm at home 7 hours a day. And so I'm awake for 1 hour at home, and the rest I'm just doing groceries or delivering stuff. So actually I use reason number 3 to help others. I use this reason very much to leave the house. This is the current situation, but still many people leave the houses to do to take a walk or something, which is also
Can you walk the dog? Can you walk the dog?
You are allowed to walk the dog. By the way, this is one of the things that our project is doing. We're also offering people who can't walk the dogs by themselves or shouldn't walk the dogs by themselves. We're also assisting them in this. But yeah, generally we should stay at home, but especially for us, for the young generation who wants to help, we actually have the government guarantees us that we are allowed to stay in, and there's also no curfew, so we can do this practically 24/7.
It's fascinating to see that everyone is dealing with the coronavirus, but every country is reacting to it differently. Not everywhere is the same. I'm calling in, I didn't say, I'm calling in from Milan, from Italy, and we are already 1 month here. And the reason to go out to help others is not justifying to be able to go out. So basically volunteering work is very limited. Actually, it's not doable to do volunteering work. And it's interesting to see that every country approaches to it differently, and every country is trying to fight it differently. And and I'm grateful that you're all finding ways, to be able to act and help, even though whatever the regulations are. So I want to ask you the next question because you all kind of jumped into what you're doing. Okay. Can you explain me a little bit what actually is the activity per se, in terms of what are you doing those, you said I'm 7 hours at home, right? What do you do the rest of the 18, how many hours, 16 hours outside?
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is most of my mornings look like this, that I go to grocery stores, I go to kosher grocery stores, I go to drugstores. I've been, I think today, in 6 different pharmacies and collect all the stuff. And in our headquarters we have enough space to actually store all the things we buy. So everything that we can store, like things that don't expire so soon, we all store them in our headquarters. And in the afternoon, a lot of volunteers. By now we have almost 100 volunteers, which is an extreme amount of people, and it's already very hard to actually delegate all the 100 volunteers, because like we also, like, from the management level, we're not that many people who are actually capable of managing so many volunteers. But however, so in the afternoons, mostly we just deliver we deliver the food, and in the evening we do all the accounting. We clean up the place because it's always a mess, and we have to clean the cars and so on. But
how do you doing payments for the grocery and for anything that you purchase?
Okay, so this is very interesting. There are a lot of people engaged. I said there are around 100 volunteers. So most of them do deliveries or do the groceries, but there are already 5 people by now who are just dealing with the IT. And there were so many great people with such great ideas who developed and bought softwares and a lot of stuff to actually deal with all this. So we made an own system, an own accounting system, where we buy stuff and we write down what every item costs, and we give them an own receipt of ours into the delivery, and we ask them to pay us via telebanking. And if they cannot, we wait until this whole thing is over, and we'll send them a receipt afterwards, so that they can pay as soon as they can leave their houses and actually go to the bank and transfer the money.
And
But we do not take any cash because we just avoid contact. So what we actually do, if we do groceries for the people, we just put the bag in front of the doors, ring on the doorbell, and then actually leave. So there's no contact whatsoever, which is very important to us.
Yes, but whose money you're spending?
We
as an organization.
We as organization are spending money, but we'll get this money back at some point.
But I just want to know who is making the advances. So you're making the advance payments.
Yes.
In the name of the people who cannot do the transfer for you, because not everyone, especially in the age that is the vulnerable group, not necessarily they know how to do an online banking, or at a certain age, it's not something that you navigate well.
Exactly. So we find ways, and we like if we should have a shortcut, I think we know who to contact to actually get the money we still need. But like currently it's still working, and actually more people than when we're supposed to already paid their money back. So it's actually not working so bad.
Okay, how many people are involved, Robin, in this action?
As I said, we have got around 100 volunteers, which are people who do IT, people who are just working in our storage place, people who do groceries, people who deliver the groceries, people who just who just go to the pharmacies whatsoever. And we also have 10 volunteers to do phone calls. And I want to point out that in the last week alone, we called 2,654 people, 2,654 people, which is actually an extreme amount of number when you consider that the Jewish community of Vienna just has 8,000 members. So this is really, we made more than 2,500 phone calls. We delivered 326 times stuff to people already. This was just in this week. This week and last week, we delivered more than 300 food deliveries, medicine deliveries, whatever people need. We manage this, and then it's an absurd amount of stuff that we actually offer and stuff that we actually do. Yeah, that's so much to answer your question.
Last question, and then I give the floor to others. What is the response of the people that you call them? Okay, so these are young people calling elderly, right?
Exactly.
And elderly is which age? Elderly, I mean, whoever is in the endangered group, right?
So what we said, we asked we contacted the community and told them, listen, we want to do groceries for people, we want to help them, whatever. And we started, please, could you give us the names of all the community members over the age of 60? Which is already what we did, and these people we reached out to. Additionally, we gave them a telephone number of ours if people want to call us, and people who are pregnant or are currently sick or have kids at home and can't leave their house or shouldn't leave their houses when they do groceries whatsoever, we give them the opportunity. We published it on social media, via the community, via WhatsApp group chats, whatsoever, to actually inform the people that we actually come. And now I actually forgot your question. I'm very sorry. What was your...
Yes. No, I just said what is the response of the people that you call?
Yeah. Okay. So the response is actually something very amazing. Like out of the 2,500 people we called, maybe 10 didn't like it at all. But everybody was like very happy, was very grateful that someone actually wanted to do something for them. Some people already also just didn't want to take the offer, like said, yeah, I can still do the groceries by myself, although we advised them not to do it. But what I actually want to point is that due to this project, a lot of people came together, although they just saw each other for a very brief moment, but people came together who would actually never meet each other. The Jewish community of Vienna is a very diverse one, with groups from people whose families are in Austria for more than 100 years, people from Eastern Europe, people from Asia, whatsoever. All these people came together, had nothing to do with each other before, and came together and grew together as one big people, which is also very great, and everybody appreciates this. And I'm very happy to see how this evolves after the whole Corona crisis, to see how we do the follow-up and how we get these people together in a better way.
I'll come back to that question. Okay, I'll come back to what you point out. Is this just for Vienna or for the rest of the country?
To get into more details, I think I would need to explain you the geography of Austria a little bit more. But Jewish population of Austria is, by like 90% of the Jews of Austria live in Vienna, so this is not too big of a deal. But we still reach out to people from outside, and if they should need groceries or anything, we try to contact people that we know who live close to them. So in the second biggest city of Vienna, which is called Graz, there is a little community. So if we contact someone from there and these people are in need, we just contact their local community, tell them, can you take care of these people? And if not, we will still find a solution.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. Blanca, can you share from your perspective and exactly what is the activity like, and are you following the trend what Robin is explaining, and how it's unfolding for you in Bosnia?
So basically, first of all, Jewish community stopped working 16th of March. So basically 17th of March, we needed to have some meeting to know what to do next. So basically we decide first thing that we need a team of volunteers, young volunteers who will help us for our older people, because today after that, our government decided that people who are younger than 18 and older than 65 cannot go out from their own home. So basically, I told you already the main problem of the Jewish community and for the future of the Jewish community in Sarajevo, because they are older people.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of work, unfortunately, today. So we have a team of volunteers around them, about 25, let's say like that, who are trying to help a Holocaust survivor. We have another program, home care, and for the people who are not even in both programs, but they are 65 plus. So you need to buy them grocery, you need to go to pharmacy and stuff like that. So basically we have a phone for all the Jewish community members who can call us today to, I don't know, what they need for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we are going to buy that, ring them on the door, leave stuff what we both. And today Jewish community decided to give us money for that. So basically we will see after that how we are going to deal with the money. So today everything is paid by the Jewish community of Sarajevo. So what else do you need to know? Tell me, I can speak a lot, so basically.
Tell me, how many people are involved with you in the work that you do?
We have 25 volunteers, and we have in whole Bosnia and Herzegovina around 80 people who survived Second World War. So basically, we are working just for Sarajevo, but we are all the time in contact with our social workers in other cities in Bosnia and Herzegovina, trying to deal what's happening there and to help other people.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a little bit more sensitive question here. Okay, as Bosnia and Herzegovina has been through a wartime. Okay, it's not this situation is not maybe as new. However, it's very different, right? Do you feel like the community and the community members had kind of trained the muscle and jumped into kind of activating themselves and grouping themselves, knowing the reaction needs to be fast and needs to be, efficient in order to provide the assistance needed?
Of course, we had a war in Bosnia 92-95. For people who don't know, maybe. So basically, we have, unfortunately, a lot of older people with the trauma, having no food, not going out. So basically, the main thing, I think Robin already said that they call a lot of people. So basically, we have volunteers who are just calling people that they know that someone is taking care of them. Because for them, it's that too big. Some of them just cried because of it.
What is the reaction? I want to know what is the response.
Some of them just cried because they don't use helpful because they cannot go out from their own home. They are alone. They don't. Their children live somewhere around across a border. They try to cry because someone is today thinking about them like they think about us 20 and something years ago. So basically, they're very thankful for the job that we are doing today. And all the time when I'm speaking with them, they said like, I did that in the 90s. And for one story, then one guy who just called me, and I don't know, I will share with you, to buy grocery for him and his wife because they are 65 plus. He told me, this is the second time that I feel awful in my life. And I asked him why. The first time was in war when I needed to just stand in a line to have a food.
Mhm.
And the second time is now because I cannot do anything for myself and I need to ask you to do it for me. And I said, like, it's honest for me. Like, you don't have to do it. He said, like, it's the second time in my life to just feel awful. So basically in Bosnia, we have a problem for the people, grocery shops in Bosnia now have a limited how many things of
Yes.
liters of the oil you can buy, because people are just buying and buying sugar, oil, flour, because they just scared that they are going to stay without food.
So I wanted to explain that because I don't think that, I think on the European perspective, everyone battles with it differently. A country like Austria or Italy or France, where there is a production of its own, and there's some kind of an assurance that the stores will not be seized with providing food, right? There is a production, and there is food, even though one day there is not, the next day there is. But what is the situation in Bosnia, where export and import is seized? So you cannot have supplies from outside. So you need to lean on what is the local products. Can you hear me? The local products and the local production. So
yeah, so basically that's the, last week in Sarajevo, in any grocery shop, you couldn't buy oil or flour. It was like people are standing in a line because you have a limited person, how many persons can head inside of the shop. So basically, when the older people are just calling you to buy them, it's very sad to say them, you cannot buy that in a store. So basically they said, we will buy a big amount of that and then separated, and we're waiting them to deliver us that. So basically we're just buying a time because we know that Monday. When was Monday? I'm sorry, for me, I don't know which day is. On Monday, we have a delivery from our, sorry. So basically, it's very hard for them, because, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, Blanca.
Sorry, something with my internet maybe is not working, sorry. So basically, it's very hard for us to explain to people, and they're feeling fear because they cannot do anything for themselves. So we're trying to call them every day, because for them is like something is happening when you call them, because every day is the same. They are in apartment, on houses, and alone, try just watching when someone is going to call them.
Oh.
So basically, that is the main problem for the people who just used to go out to, I don't know, walk, to come to the Jewish community, to hang out with the people and stuff like that. For them, one lady said, it's my psychological suicide for me in this moment, because she's just home. And
that's, I think, another difference with other countries, that communities like small communities, like with 1,000 people or few hundreds of people, the community center becomes their social place, social gathering place. Is the crucial place to meet others, to drink a coffee, to have that chit chat. And when that ceases, is if like, yes, your life is a cease. And I connect
10
with
or
that.
15 people who are coming every day in a Jewish community.
Yeah.
Some of them are changed, but 10 or 15 of them who are every day in a Jewish community. And for them, today they're locked in apartment. It's like they cannot believe that they cannot not go out.
Thank you, Blanca. Thank you for everything what you're doing. Thank you for sharing. We'll come back. Beto, can you share with us what is your program? What is your project? How you have activated yourself and responded to the situation?
So luckily, I haven't had to do anything like they have been doing in their countries because we had committees within the community that have taken care of that. And usually the families take care of their elderly, and we have Sarakoti. So they actually take care of the elderly already. They already got food like delivered to their house before. So that's working. So what I've been doing now is sort of trying to bring the activities back up, even if it's online. And most of our activities are involving other communities a lot. So we work with the Nordics a lot. And we were supposed actually to go visit we were supposed to have a Shabbaton in Norway very soon, and we have to cancel all the activities. We're talking with Denmark all the time, and now we're trying to coordinate activities together. So the project that I'm doing right now is for Passover. So it's an online mock Seder, and the box with food. So basically it's a box kind of like this. This is like a prototype, and we are going to give them everything that they need for a Seder. And we're going to have an online Haggadah where they're going to do together. And now it's going to be, we're going to have 2 mock Seders, one for young adults and one for teenagers. And the one for teenagers, we're going to be doing it in collaboration with the Danish Jewish community. And we're hoping to have some kids from Sweden and from Norway also. So a lot of the efforts are joint. So we really are kind of getting even closer now, even though we cannot see each other. So we're planning ahead. We're planning the activities all the way through the lockup, probably goes all till May. So we're planning activities and kind of things that we can do. And we're looking ahead to summer. Even if we cannot get together, see how we can return to a kind of like a normal. And since they're going to miss a lot of school and a lot of activities, we're already making a full plan for June, July, and August. So we can actually try to push back into some kind of normal.
And how many people are involved in doing the packages, doing the box? Did you have a committee that was kind of thinking what should be in the box, what should be included?
So the idea of the box actually was born in a BBYO staff conference in the US. So we had to do some kind of a project. And I was with Maya, Ilya, and some other people, and they were like, let's do a box. And we're thinking about doing a Passover box that we can send each other and have like an exchange and everything. Then this happened, and I was just like, how do I have Passover? It doesn't matter if we will send the box. So it came to be that everybody has to get a box. Everybody who's part of our community, from the teens and young adults, has to get one. So I started looking online on packages that how to like build different things, how to print out different things. So I just started doing it myself, and I was like, it's easy. I just like bought like recycled paper plates and put stickers on them that are plastic. We started bagging the matzo. We already had ordered the food for our Passover Seders. So we have chicken, we have everything in the freezer. So the chef of the community is actually going to cook the food for the Seders. We're going to pack it up, and they're going to be available for them to pick it up the day of the Seder in the morning, or we're going to deliver them if they cannot go out. And it's been an effort of Elias, the chef. People in the community have helped. I have some people who are going to help lead the Seder, and now I'm coordinating with Educating for Impact. They help us pay some of the grape juice. I'm doing it part with the grant from Moise House. So it's kind of like putting together resources from everywhere just to make sure that it can happen. And now they're going to do the box in Denmark also. And I had a message from Rabbi Uzi from Gothenburg. They're also going to do it in Gothenburg. So it's kind of spreading in the Nordics, and we're trying to do this kind of like stay at home, stay safe, and we'll see how to get it to you.
It has a butterfly effect. It's multiplying itself. And tell me, and you can deliver these packages to people, right?
We can still go out. Normally, the kids are advised to stay home. Everybody's advised to stay home. I'm going still to work because I work in the community and the school's still open. And we still have to do a lot of planning because we don't know what's coming. Since we are behind Europe, we rather start planning ahead because we don't know when do we have to stop going there. So every time I come home, I bring my computer, I bring my things. I go back in the morning, and every time I can go back, I have more time to sort of like plan ahead.
Beto, you said just a second. Okay, so you said we are doing this. We have to do. We need to think forward, and etc. And you're mentioning that you do work for the community itself. But this box and this idea and everything that you're doing and spreading the word to all the Nordic communities, it's not your job. I'm wondering, what is the drive to jump into responding, jumping into dedicating yourself to act, because in one space your job is in a way ceased, right? You cannot plan physical programs, physical gatherings, but this is not basically your job, right? This is something that comes extra out of it, right? So what is the drive for someone to respond to a need, to a crisis, and to dedicate yourself to it?
I think since we have so little time to adapt, we look for things that make us feel useful, because you don't want to feel like you're not doing enough. So if this can help somebody in another community that is so close to us, like the Danish one or the Oslo one or wherever, I want to help. So it's kind of like also a feeling in the North. I think that all the communities in the North, we're super tiny. We have 1,000 members. Denmark is maybe double. So we're not really super big. So we see each other as the same community in many ways. So we are going through the crisis at the same time, and that makes us feel a little bit more responsible for each other. So I'm planning the box right now, and I told Noah from Copenhagen, okay, let's do this. Let's like do all this thing, and we started planning ahead, and we're talking about doing an event, Zoom for Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Noah said, oh, I have my grandfather as a survivor. He can come online. We're already planning everything together because it's much easier, because even though we're not in the same location, it just seems even more natural for us to communicate.
In a strange way, the more distance we are more close to one another.
Yes.
And my question to all of you here is also how the community leadership responded to your involvement and your efforts, but how was there? Yeah, whoever wants to.
So it's actually very interesting how it evolves. I actually want to like kudos to who kudos deserves. I want to point out that the whole idea was given to us by Bini, who is our former president and now president of EOGS. I'm very happy that he gave us the idea. However, when we thought about doing this, the first thing is we called the leadership of the community and asked them, can we actually we want to do groceries, we want to help people, can we do something? And immediately they told us, listen, tomorrow there's a big call, everybody's at home, but there's a big call of the leadership of the community, do you want to join? And then we presented our project, and actually actually they involved us in this call, and they listened to us, and they're very, very, very happy. And they told us, listen, if you do all the groceries, not every single student can afford to spend so much money. So they actually gave us a fair amount of money for us to start with, to actually make expenses, and said that at some point when you get back the expenses, you can pay it back to us. But actually, I saw the question before, if we are collecting any funds for people who got poor because of the Corona crisis. So the community also told us, listen, people should actually pay you back what you gave to us. But if they cannot afford it, okay, so they won't pay it. This is not a problem. The community told us immediately that they're going to cover for this. And so this is very good. And nowadays I'm having I and my colleagues Noah, who is the president, and Benny, who is the director general of the Austrian Union of Jewish Students, we're having phone calls, every one of us, at least 2 times a day with the community. They're calling us, hey guys, how are you helping? Because they really see, and I don't want to brag, but they really see that physically of the amount of work that we do, really do a lot. And I also want to point out that the community itself, in my opinion, would not be able to provide this kind of service without us. And they are very proud that that we collaborate with them, and this is why they're very helpful. And
is there a social welfare department in the community?
There is a social welfare department, and they're dealing. Listen, we are also working together with them, but they're also completely overwhelmed by the situation. I think that everybody's overwhelmed by the situation. We are also, and we are all helping each other. Just to give you a little example, the Jewish home, the local Jewish home for the aged, just this week, they every day they deliver food to people at home. Like they already started it like 30 or 40 years ago. They always did it. But actually this week, one of the workers who actually always delivers the food for people at home, like freshly prepared food, not the basic groceries, but like freshly prepared food for sick people who can't cook by themselves, they always delivered it. And their driver actually got sick. No, he does not have corona, just normal flu. Yeah. And he actually, and they asked us, hey, how can you do it? I said, okay, good. One of our guys will deliver the food for the old people for the home of the aged. And so we're all helping each other, and we're calling each other, and we're asking each other, hey, how can I help you? Is there any, I've got free resources. How can we assist you? How can you assist me? It's a daily conversation between the political leadership of the community, between the social welfare department of the community, between the home for the aged, between a lot of engaged older community members who actually want to help us. Just to give you a little example, we called out to several old people and asked them if we could deliver food to them, and they said, first of all, yes, please deliver me food, and second of all, listen, I am a teacher, and I've now I've literally nothing to do, so maybe you can connect me to someone who needs who I can teach something, like if whatsoever. Or someone said, listen, I'm a psychiatrist. If people are bored at home and they need someone to talk to, hey, come back to me. So actually now is a time where so many people from different parts of the community come together and just forget everything that stood between them, and they're just there to help, because now it's important for them, and they see.
That was what I was asking, because Vienna is a very heterogenic community, right? You mentioned that in the beginning, but I don't know how much people are aware of the heterogeneous demographical situation in your community, that you have the Bohari, the Mizrahi, the Israelis, the Hungarian, the Austrian, the Eastern European. So, and also you have like the Lauder Business School, you have a lot of young people living there. So it's a quite multi-culti, I would say, a place. Even there's only 8,000 Jews, but each one of them different from one another. And have you seen this? You've mentioned like we're coming all together. And I want to understand from you, are these people that you same old, or these are new faces as well being involved? Do you see people approaching and saying, wait a second, this is meaningful, this is something that I want to activate myself in, I want to be part of this?
So of course, old people, like people same old, these people, like they're also engaging. People who engaged 1 year ago also engaged now, but also a lot of people reached out to us. As I said before, many elder people from the community who shouldn't leave their houses just called us and said, listen, for example, I can tell you the former president of the community told me, listen, I'm frankly speaking, I'm a little bit more influential in the community. So as soon as you need something, just call me and I will make people do stuff. So these people help us, but also people who are actually in our age group. Well, the Austrian Union of Jewish Students is for people between the age of 18 and 35. And many people I've never seen before in my life just sent us an email and said, listen, I want to help. I've got a car. There was even a guy, he owns a petrol station, a gas station, which is forced to be closed at this point. And he said, listen, in the middle of the Jewish area, I've got a big storage place. Use it. I've got 2 cars. You can have it. Just don't worry. And this is a person. Honestly, I put fuel, like I got fuel from this gas station already a million times, and I didn't even know that he was Jewish, and he was actually a member of the Jewish community. So so many people just came back to the Judaism and came back to the community because they saw something is happening, and they want to be a part of it, and this is very nice. So I think that on a long-term basis, we gained a lot of people who are engaging now. Who, if we make the right decisions in the future, these people will not cease to actually be with us. These are people who, on a long-term basis, can stay with us, can be happy with us, and after all, I also know that there are good workers who actually get things done. So I'm very happy that to have gotten to know so many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's so inspiring what you're saying, and I'm wondering in my mind, because we're all dipped in the crisis per se now that is happening, and there's certain emergency and urgency that we all feel that we need to activate ourselves. However, the prognosis is the crisis will happen once we go out. And that big humanitarian crisis will happen on all different sorts of levels. And one of the big questions is about this leadership, the establishment. Will they be able to lead us throughout the way in that crisis? And I'd like to understand from your notion, from you, Robin, but also from Blanca and from Beto, are you seeing a new leadership coming in to the communities to bring their voices, to bring their minds, to bring their expertise in the Jewish communities? Because we will really need and depend on that.
Yeah, I will go. So I guess you can see that everybody's activating. I've had support from the community to do these things. I don't think that if I were not working in the community, I would have the time or the resources to do what I'm doing right now. So it has like amplified what I was doing before. And there's people within the community that have been super helpful. They're like, okay, I can help you with this, I can help with that. Within the crisis management teams, there's some people who have stepped up that have already been active in some other things, but they're stepping up in other efforts. And I think also the youth is just kind of like waiting to see what's going to happen. They are waiting to be activated. There's nothing that they can do right now. The elderly are well taken care of. The community has done its job. I think we're getting ready for when after we come out of the crisis, what's going to happen then, and sort of like prepared to go back into a reality that's going to be changed by all the economic effects and all this kind of like social effects even that people are going to have from being inside for so long. So I do see that there's going to be a lot of new leaders within the community, but it's also like showing how our leadership is actually like understanding that they are going with the crisis and responding well to it. So I think it's like both.
Thank you. And Blanca?
I was very happy when everything, actually not happy, but happy because a lot of people text me when a crisis started in Sarajevo. When can we help you? What we have to do? And I told you we have 25 volunteers in Sarajevo that are trying to help us. So I basically was very happy to see that such a thing was just connecting us. So basically, we're all the time on phones, but we cannot, of course, meet each other a lot now. But few of us just meet in the community when we need something to buy or to pack things. And about our Jewish community president, he's supporting us, and we have his all the time support.
So the establishment supports you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And do you see new people coming in to activate themselves?
I cannot say new people, but people who are not active all the time, they are now active.
Okay.
It's like not new people that I never met, but the people who are not all the time in a Jewish community, not working there or not just appear there all the time. Now they're coming there.
Thank you. Robin?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that at this point, I'm actually not thinking so much about the leadership of the community. I'm actually living from 1 hour to the other and see which new obstacles are coming. But generally, what I can tell you about the leadership is that things have changed in the last 2 weeks, because getting in a conversation with prominent leaders of the community is more of a long-term process. And now since 2 weeks, I've got the private mobile numbers of basically everyone, and I can just call them, and we talk to each other by first names, which is something very new. And I think that I think the people who are engaged now are, by the leadership, have been seen as random community members and are now partners. I wouldn't say that they consider them also as leadership, but in this current crisis situation, we're as partners, and nobody cares who is called president, who is secretary general, who is board member, whatsoever. We're just here, we're dealing with it, and whoever is dealing with it whoever is dealing with the crisis is dealing with the crisis, and it doesn't matter where they come from. If they've got good ideas, then we take these ideas. And if they've got a car, then we use this person with this car. And if they just have a driver's license, we're going to use the driver's license. It really doesn't matter in which position they are, the crisis manager, president, whatsoever. So I do think that these people who are now partners can in some way join leadership at some point, but like it's really not what anybody is thinking right now.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to open the floor to everyone who is here if they want to ask a question, if you think that there's something that we didn't cover and you're interested to know about the work that these 3 young people are doing in their communities.
I have one actually.
Sam, we can't hear you.
Which is for the 3 of you, which everyone it's
now, yes.
Okay. So thank you to the 3 of you. Like, it's amazing and very inspiring to hear what the 3 of you are doing. I'm just curious if there was another, if there's kind of on, I don't know what it would look like, but I'd be curious if you feel like you have everything or there's more and you could do more.
We didn't hear you. Can you type down the
question? If you had something.
Guys, did you hear the question? No.
I didn't.
Robin, Sam, can you type it quickly? If you have a wish list, something more they need to do, you need to do you have a missing resource? Is it something missing, like sleep? We can't help you with that, Robin. Something you feel like it needs to scale up, something, a support, a pillar that would help you. I understand the sleep, but beyond that.
No, I was kidding. I think so far, and this is another thing that I think actually nobody can really help us with is experience. I think that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I became 10 years older. Just by my knowledge, by myself being exhausted, and by what I just experienced. So So I think we would all be very happy if obviously we wouldn't be happy, but we'd be more comfortable if by all what we are currently doing now, we would have someone who has gone through a similar situation and would tell us what to do at this point. But at this point, like what is really driving us crazy is that we don't know how long we are still going to do it, and what the next step is going to be. And at this point, not even the government knows how Austria is going to look like in 4 weeks, and if we're going to be able to leave the houses, if there's going to be enough toilet paper, and if there's going to be enough pasta, whatever. No, but if there's anything that we actually need that people give to us, I think it would be, I think although we don't really want to admit it, some kind of supervision, some kind of like someone who is completely uninvolved in this whole project and would just talk to everyone for half an hour and tell them, listen, take care of yourself, go to sleep a little bit earlier, let someone else do the work. I think if we would have kind of a person who deals with the psychological well-being of the volunteers, it would be very good. I personally, I study social work, so in my studies we always learn that this is very important. And for example, the refugee crisis in 2015 actually showed that a lot of volunteers were able to help in the first 2 months, and after that they were overwhelmed with them having to work and them having to like raise their own kids and in the meanwhile dealing with horrible destinies. So I don't want to compare the refugee crisis with what is happening now. Please understand me. Please understand me on this. But I just think I just fear that this will come up. That this whole volunteer work, we're gonna be fed up very soon if we don't look at ourselves. And currently, I don't think that anyone of the volunteer team looks after themselves.
You're putting an amazing point, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for saying that out loud. We might be able to consider this, how we could help you. So after this call, we're going to have a conversation, okay, Robin? Because within our team, we actually give this kind of a support, and we do have people who could be a soundboard and who went through crisis, who might be able to help you in that. But thank you. Somebody else wants to address the question?
I can say that luckily we've had the resources to do the projects that we wanted to do. Luckily, the community hasn't been in that situation like in other countries. So I think what we're missing is maybe a way to help other communities. I know I have a lot of friends here in the Nordics, in the Baltics, in my own community. And when we talk with our friends from Spain or from Italy, we're thinking, how can we help? You know, like for us, like we can skip one like meal or something. For us, it's nothing, but maybe for someone that's very important. So like maybe you can help us reach out to people that need the help, and that can be something that we can all do from our living room, like donate whatever we can and just help them out.
Yeah.
For the sakes of just helping out.
Thank you, Beto. There are a lot of organizations who are starting emergency funds, fundraising, and yeah, I at the moment physically we are not able to help one another. We definitely are powerless in that sense, but we would love to explore further. What does it mean? How one country to another can be out of help and a support to one another. Thank you, Beto. Blanca, you want to address the question?
When you ask, when Samantha asked, do we need something? The first thing that I called today, like 20 pharmacies, we need masks. And I was like, what we miss masks because for volunteers. So basically because everybody are buying, and it's like, unfortunately, not so nice to find masks, but we will find it. But still, that's the first thing that I have on my mind, because all the time I'm on the phone trying to find a pharmacy who have.
There's another project we can suggest you. In Ukraine, they started, the young people started sewing classes, and they're sewing masks. They're making masks for their for their community members. But yeah, in this time is really the one of the things that is really a bit of frustration for me, that we're all blocked, we're all in lockdown, and even you know, sending out to people or even giving money, it won't help you because you have nowhere where to buy. I mean, I also went to the pharmacy. They wrote until 31st of July, no mask available, and that this crisis really ties our hands really tight, okay, of how much we can do. And I really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart of everything what you've shared today here. I find it not just only inspiring, but empowering and motivating and refreshing for my soul. Yeah, there are no words of gratitude that I can express enough to say what an amazing and moving job you're all doing. And I wish, I mean, we're starting this series of conversation with people who are activating themselves. One is to just give a possibility to give a spotlight on you, to give you a possibility to also tell to others, to narrate it, but also to share best practice and to call people who are not activated to act, because we do believe that every, you know, the answers lies within every one of us. We need to stay home. We need to stay home, but we have ways how we could help and how we could activate ourselves. And somebody wants to speak. I'm getting a message. No.
Sorry, Lela, can I just, I don't have a question, but I do have a feedback. First of all, I would like to thank you for this. I'm so glad I joined the call. I was in bazillion Zoom calls as everyone else this and last week. And this is, I think, the first one, for sure, the first one where I had tears in my eyes for most of most of the time. I find it so moving and so touching and so, as you also said, empowering, and it fills my heart with pride. And it really feels, I don't know, I feel proud to be a Jew when I hear these things. And I also, yeah, I just want to say really thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you're doing. And especially, I also have family in Serbia and Bosnia, and I do know very well what people are going through. And Blanca, I want to send a kiss to you and a big hug. Yes, and to thank you for everything you're doing. I know it's not easy for you as well, and I hope you're taking care of yourself. And yeah, so thank you very much for this. Veliki Zagreb ti šaljem.
So someone else?
Yeah, so I also wanted to say from us at UGS, and for me personally, I knew that most of you, what most of you were doing, but still this call left me kind of speechless. I'm so impressed with the work that the three of you are doing, but also the work that so many other young Jews are doing right now. See how young Jews are really taking responsibility that's now needed more than ever in our lifetime into their own hands. It's so inspiring for me to see. And it's really one of the best things I think that came out of this really challenging situation that we are all in. So really, from the bottom of my heart, you're truly an example, not just for other young Jews, but I think for society in general. And please keep up the outstanding, amazing work that you are doing. And please, if you're just listening in on this call, try to take an example of these three leaders. I know that I certainly will. And try to also get active and try to also help your communities, because that's what it's all about in hard times and in times like these. So really thanks a lot. And then also thanks to all the other amazing young Jews that are doing similar work than you do, that we weren't able to highlight in this call. But really from the bottom of my heart, just thank you, Shkoyach.
To echo Zbin's voice and to kind of close this conversation, as we said, we are starting a series of conversation with people who are doing similar work that you're doing. As we said, we are doing it once to inspire, to showcase, to give a best case scenarios, what people can do, but also to acknowledge you know, to give you a moment to be able to say your story, to be able to tell to the world what's happening, and to ensure leaders across the Jewish communities in Europe and globally that young people not necessarily think about just young adult matters, but they think about the community in general, and they think about the society in general. And this is an example that the three of you are leading. And I will end this conversation, I will end this talk with Rabbi Shimon the Righteous, that speaks about the three pillars that the world rests upon. One is Torah, the second is Avodah, which is service and worship, and Gemilut Hasidim, the act of loving kindness. And volunteering is the essence of that. And you have taken that and you're carrying it out, and I'm so proud of all of you. And I really would love to hug you all, but once this is over, most probably we will be able to meet, and I know we will go out from this tunnel. I'm sure we will. And I just want you to know that we are here once the crisis will be over, and whatever comes as the aftermath. We as Jewish organization, EOJS included, and from JDC, we will be there to help you, to sustain you, and to be able to have dignified lives. And yes, I really wish you all to stay safe, healthy, okay, and protect yourself. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.